All right. So let's begin our day. So welcome all for this new chapter for SQL, which is chapter 3, displaying query results. So here we have two topics, presenting data and summarizing data. So let's move ahead with the first topic of this chapter, which is presenting data. So objectives here is will display a query results in a specified order. We use SAS formats, labels, and titles to enhance the appearance and usability of query output. And of course, we'll use certain ProcSQL options to control the query's output. Now look at the scenario. There are two reports which we need to perform. Now we are quite familiar that we do have a data for employee donations. And this data set, we have the information of employee donating some amount every quarter for some charity organizations. Okay. So management wants to analyze donation information. They requested two reports. The first report should have only for quarter one these donations in descending order. So for every employee in each quarter they are donating. So they want to know that in quarter one the contribution. Okay, and that also it should be in descending order. Look at it, the highest is at the top and the lowest at the bottom. Whereas the second report is going to be maximum quarterly donations in descending order with employee IDs in ascending order. So you need to first order the values for your maximum. First, you need to find out what is the maximum donation among all the 4 quarters for each employee. And then first, you need to arrange the values for quarterly in descending, and among it should be your employee ID in ascending. So these are the two reports. Understand these two reports, read it carefully, simultaneously observe this, understand how and what we have to do it. Okay, just look into the slide.
So for each employee, one maximum quarterly donation we have to take.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you remember the data. The data is all about an employee and each quarterly donations. So if you see the screen now, I hope you can see this table, employee donations, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So if you see, you have employee ID and each employee donating in each quarter. So this is employee which is not having any donation in quarter one, but he has maximum donation done at quarter four. Then this employee is donating all the quarters, but everywhere it is 15. So the max value will be 15. Whereas this employee is donating, of course, all again the value is same. Among this, for quarter one, this will be his contribution. Whereas for all the quarters, there is no contribution in the fourth quarter. So the maximum contribution is going to be 20. Are you getting it for the second report?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, Ashwin.
Okay. So this table understood. So you have employee ID, you have all 4 quarters donations, you have its recipients information and paid by information. So is this table clear, everyone? Monica, Shanmuga.
Yes, Ashwini.
Okay. So if you have understood this table, so what and how we are going to do it? So generally we can write ProcSQL, select. Now we want only employee ID. And suppose for the first report, you want only quarter one donation. Correct?
Yeah.
From Orion dot employee underscore donations data.
Order by.
One sec. Yes, you are correct. But one sec. I'll show you step by step. So as per our first report, we want only first quarter donations. Okay, now we have some syntax error. QTR, is it 1 or QTR? QTR. Okay. Done. So this is what we get the first report. But as per the slide, the first report, they want the order of the quarter values in descending order of their values. So hence, we are going to now get introduced to your next clause, which is order by. So order by, we are going to write quarter 1 descending, correct? So this is a keyword in descending order. In ProcSQL, we always write this after your column. It is not written like your proc sort in basis before the column. All right. So let's execute. Done. Okay. Okay. So this is one report. Now, instead of writing the column, okay, here, I may also provide this information as 2. So let us check what is this and does it give us the same result? Yes. So what does this numeric 2 indicates in order by? Any idea?
From select it is like employed is 1 and QTR is 2.
Absolutely. So the numeric 2 in order by indicates the column number which you have selected in your select clause. So the second column in your select clause is quarter 1. Hence it is, you can also specify in order by as its order, its numeric order in your select statement. So like this, you can always specify the column name or you can also specify the numeric 2. In some cases, what can one do is, you can also specify, suppose I write here. So what is this paid by column? In your original table, you have a column called paid by, correct? Yes.
Yes.
So in ProcSQL, even if the column is not selected for query, you can still order the values by the column which you have not selected in query. So this is also one way where one can also perform the order by clause on the column which you have not selected for query to queried. See, it's going to arrange the values in the order by as per the order by column. So it will be ascendically. So it is character values. So accordingly, the result will be shown in this particular program of that ascending order of paid by column for all these rules. All right. So this is one thing where you should be knowing about order by clause, that even if the column is not selected in the select clause for analysis or for query, but the column has been contributed from your input table, it will still perform the order by process. All fine, either you perform or either you give its numeric order in select clause, or you can always give the column name as well. Fine, people.
Yes.
Yes, Ashwini.
Okay, so this is one of the beauty of SQL. So see, even when you are performing order by, is it a prerequisite that the data needs to be sorted? No. So like with base SAS, we need to first sort your data and then we have to generate the report in a specific order. Correct? But here it's not like this. Why? Because it's a query language where it queries the table at its database level and fetching the information. All right. Okay, so this was about your order by clause. So we'll see your second report one by one also. Now this is what it's telling. Ordering rows you come across the clause called order by. So it's telling order by, you can write more than one column separated by comma in order by clause. So what it will do, it will first order the values on the first column, and within that column, the next column values will be ordered. It is same like your proc sort. If you remember, primary variable gets sorted first, and within the value of primary variables, your next values upcoming column values get sorted. Okay, so its default sort order using an order by clause, of course, is ascending by default until and unless you specify this keyword descending. So use descending keyword following the column name to reverse the order. So this is where you get in descending order of your quarter one result for employees who are contributing in quarter one. So what are the specifications for order by clause? So this is the syntax, and the columns can be separated by comma. So you can order the values on multiple columns. So a column name from any table in the from clause. Of course, the table should be specified in the from clause, even if the column is not selected in your select clause. Okay, so that's what we had seen in our second example. So this table is contributed, sorry, this column is contributed from this table, but it is though not selected, it will still order by, do the performation of sorting. Yes, you can use column alias. Column alias means in case if you write this as quarter one, I give a name as, suppose I write it as I give the name like this. So I can specify this column name. I give it here. So instead of this, I can specify the word as, which is my column alias. That is the name of the new for this column I have provided. So the alias name can also be used in my order by clause. All right. So that was it was telling. An integer representing the position of an item in the select clause, and SQL expression. So the SQL expression, like for example, we are going to calculate suppose a new column, and you want to arrange the values according to the new column, that also you can do it in order by clause. Okay. So if more than one order by item is specified, then the first one determines the major sort order. As I said you, it's similar like what we have discussed earlier, like proc print. First it will arrange the values in the primary column, and within the values of primary columns the secondary column values gets added. So how this works we'll see in our second example. Second example, what they were telling is we want the output that maximum of contribution in the quarters, that should be in descending order, and employee ID in ascending order, correct? So it will first order in descending order for this quarterly donations, and within this value in ascending order of employee ID. So it will first order in this. So see, it is stacking all the values together for ascending descending order of quarters, and within the group of 25 ascending order of your employee IDs. So that's what I was telling. Primary variable, it will sort the values, and within the values of primary variable your secondary values get sorted. Are you understanding this result, everyone?
Yes.
So the same thing they were telling you. Then the first one determines the major sort. All right. So now answer this poll. Which order by clause orders a report by descending state and descending city?
C, order by state descending and city descending.
C.
Everyone agreed with C?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so
So
for
you specify the
Ashwini,
column. Yeah.
if we specify two variables, so
Uh-huh.
we need to provide for both the variables the descending.
Yes, separately. Same, it's like your
As normal.
yes, SAS proc sort. But
Okay.
there we were writing the whole word descending before the column name.
Yes, yes.
Okay, here it's a small keyword. All
Okay.
right. So here it is telling that in as per our second report, we want maximum for all the quarters. So we use a function max and we give the quarter. So it will select only the maximum among all the 4 quarters. Okay. You are selecting only those donations who were paid by cash or check, and you are performing the order on descending order of the second column, comma employee ID. So it will first arrange the values in descending order of second column, which is this, and within the value of descending orders of all the max quarters, ascending by default in employee ID. So there is no descending keyword with this employee ID, hence default it will be in ascending order. So how you calculate the maximum donations? So you write a function max, which it will select only the maximum values which have been contributed from this quarters. All right.
Yes, sir.
So as we want to calculate or we want to select the maximum, you may give max as a function from all the quarters. It should select the maximum value. So this becomes by default your second column. Order by, you write second column in descending, comma first column by default in ascending. And of course they want to subset this data where they had this paid by column value should be by check or cash. So this is a character value. So values are case sensitive. Let's check whether we have written the same way with the space and all. All right. Now pay attention. So see the new column is been created because you have not provided for this new column any label or any column name as alias. So it is going to result with no column heading. But this is what it's selecting only the maximum values. So all the maximum values in ascending order have been arranged. So the values which are similar are stacked together. Within this 25 as a group, you have employee IDs arranged in a ascending order. Now within this 20 values, you have ascending order of employee IDs. So within this 15 values, you have ascending order of employee ID. So it is first arranging your maximum value, and within this group of maximum value, it's arranging ascending order of employee ID. All right, understood? Monica, Shanmuga,
Yes, teacher.
Swarupa.
Yes, understood.
So it's same like your base as proc sort. Okay, now you have observed this new column is not having any type of column heading. In case if you want to give a column heading as a label, so you can provide a label by writing a label equal to as you know we give label for your columns with basis with proc print and all. There we write as a stable a statement. Here we give it as option for this column. So you can give the label in quotation marks telling maximum donations of all quarters. You can write it like this. So let's check whether this label is appearing as a column heading. See, so it's just a label. Okay, it's not a column name. In case if you want to give a column name, you can give this name as, and you simply write this as keyword, as a keyword as you have written here. So this will appear as a label, but the column will be created with a column name, suppose maximum. So the column will be created with the name as maximum donation, but it will appear with its label. Getting it? So this becomes your label. Are you understanding the difference? Yes. As means, as you know, this never creates any column heading, but you are giving the name for it, and at the same time you are giving the label. In case if I don't write this label, now you know what label is. Label is just a tag on the column heading which should appear for your report, correct? So in case if I don't write this label, it will give a column created with a heading called as maximum donation. See? But this column is been labeled with this label when if I write this label option. All clear, understood?
Yes.
Okay. So this way of providing the label is SAS enhancements, but actual in SQL language, one can provide the label with columns simply writing in quotation marks. I gave it in this way, employee space ID, because we know in SAS, the column names cannot be separated by space. Hence we provide underscore. But if you're providing label, you put it into double quotes and you give this space. So this will be the label as been working for your employee ID. See, there is a space now. So the space is valid only when you write label. So this way of writing label without writing label equal to option is SQL language standards, whereas label equal to, as you write an option for this column and give the labels in quotation, this is SAS enhancements. All fine?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Actually, I
this
have one
is,
question.
yeah,
What is why we write down here one after order by 2 DSC 1?
one second. And this is your SAS enhancements.
By default, the column names will be the labels or the,
There is a difference in column name and there is a difference in label option. Or your column will be appearing with this name, and this will be the way it will represent on your report because it entertains spaces. Originally, the column does it entertain space in SAS.
no.
Yeah. So this is just a label. It's like a nickname
Okay, so
to be
for
seen in your
reporting,
report.
okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Monica, what was the question?
Yeah. Here is we write down like order by 2 DSC. What is one here?
One is the first column which you have used in your select clause.
Oh,
Numeric order of the column, correct? So 2 means it's the second column. 1 is the first column. Understood?
yeah.
These are the labels. Now, in case your donations, you want to enhance the values with the dollar sign. So how will give the dollar sign for this contribution?
Format.
Yeah. So how you will write format in ProcSQL?
Format equal to dollar.
So is it a statement which you'll be writing here as we did with procprint or data step in base SAS?
It's an option.
Absolutely. So on this column, you can write an option of format. So you write format equal to, and you provide the format as dollar, sorry, dollar, suppose 3 dot. Right?
Yeah.
Fine. So this 3 means it's the width, including the dollar sign. All right.
Yes.
So that is enhancements of report with this column specification. So this was one thing of order by. So with order by C, all the values of descending order of your contributions are been stacked together with same values Within this descending values, employee IDs are arranged in ascending order. Okay, so what I will ask you is just try this demo D01 and D02. For lesson 3, demo D01 and D02.
This format option is also SAS enhancement only, no?
Yes.
Done, Ashwini.
All others, everyone is done?
Yes, Ashwin.
Okay. Now look at the next scenario. So they're telling this was a original or earlier report, which is the maximum donations in a descending and within it your ascending orders of employee. We want to give title to your report. We want the row number. And we want a text on every line coming like this. Now look at this text. It's a common text coming on every line and you are formatting your report. So you want to enhance your report now. So to enhance your report, let's work out with the same report. This was your original report. Okay. So between employee ID and maximum column, we have something with a text values, but that is not having any column heading. So how you'll get this text value? Maximum donation is with a colon. So what you do is after this comma, you give in quotation the statement or the words or some words as you require in your report. Maximum donations is with colon. Now understand what will happen. Look at this program carefully and look at the output. I have, there is no comma provided here. Did I get it?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct? So what is happening, you know, this is another beauty of SQL, that you can add a single text as a row by putting it into quotes, and this will act as a value, and it is a value for a new column. Hence there is a no column heading, but you have this values coming on every row. Okay, so is it similar coming? At least for this you are having your result similar. So you need for your maximum a label. So what you can do is, here you can give directly like SQL language telling maximum. Either you write it as label equal to, or you simply write this way. So let's execute and check. Before that, we want the row number. So with proc SQL, you include a option called as number. So this will give you the row number and the columns which we have selected for analysis, and of course a text which is coming on every row. All right, fine.
Yes.
Okay, now you want the title as per this scenario, maximum quarterly donation. So see to it, before your query gets executed, you write a title statement. So what is a title statement they required? Maximum quarterly donations. Fine. So let's check.
Format is missing.
Yes. So let's apply a format. Dollar, either you give a maximum width of 4 dot. Done. So this is the result as we could see here in your output. All right. Yes.
Yes, sir.
And always have a habit to use title statement like this. Yes. So now pay attention. Now this becomes your second column. Okay. Now understand the result. Your result is not coming as per our output, which is required here. See how it is?
Order by.
Correct. So what is happening? So your your letter or your number 2 is now it's going to take this as a column.
Hmm. So order
Correct?
3.
Yes. So it's going to be this issue. So let's use it's no, but it's not an alias. So it's let it be 3. Fine. So now let's look into your output. Now it is correct. See, within 225 group, you have this in ascending order. Same goes here within the group of 20, you have this in ascending order. Fine. So this is what ultimately a report is. So try it out this way, everyone. The same report which you have tried earlier, enhance it by using this text constant, order by, that's it. Do these changes in your current program.
Ashwini, Ashwini, instead of that order by 3, shall we give that maximum? Is that give the result?
See, maximum here is a label. You did not create it as a column by using this keyword as. If you want, you can always write as and remove this quotation. So that will be a new column, but that will not come as a label. It will be a column heading. Getting it? Are you getting the difference between label and as keyword?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you can use this as and you can write maximum. So in your order by. So here, that's what I was explaining. But then I said, no, we did not create a new column. So leave this as it is. So I write maximum.
Okay. We can't give the label name, right?
We cannot give label. I hope you remember. It's just a temporary thing on the tag of your column name, how it should appear in the report. So this is the column which has been created because you have used a keyword as.
Okay.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is what we had done, and this is the same thing. See, this is as per ANSI standards where you do not write label equal to option, and this is as per SAS enhancements, format equal to label equal to. Okay, so you get labels, you get formats, label on employee ID as well, correct? So this is where you are enhancing your report with titles as well. So see to it, you write title, make a note. SAS always process the code in sequence. So if you write this title after writing all the select statement, then title will not appear in your report. Why? Because sequentially, when SAS is reading these statements, first when title appears, this will come on your report. Then it will query this query statement and the result will appear after this title. Hence, it's very much important that the title should be written before your query is executed. All right, everyone.
Yes.
So this constant text they are writing here that you are going to give a comma, give the text in quotation. And if this text you want as a column, you can give as alias and give a column name. Or if you want, you can give the label for that column. So this becomes as if it's a new column. Hence, it is separated by comma for this third column. All right. So this is what you get titles. This is what you get a constant text without any column heading, but that column is created with a constant text. Yes, if you want to enhance the report as a row number, include number option in your ProcSQL. So it will give you the row number. All right. Okay. So there are certain ProcSQL statements or options. Let's look into it. So options in ProcSQL statements such as line number remain in effect until they are changed, deleted, or until a new ProcSQL statement is executed. Options can be added, removed, or changed between ProcSQL statements with the reset statement. It's same like if you remember, no execution option which we're writing with ProcSQL. So this select which has been written was not executing, but the next select if you want to execute, you included your reset statement and you change that option to execute. I hope you remember that
Yes.
reset statement. The same thing they are telling here that in case I write this query, okay, this query is there. Okay, this is an independent query. I write a new query called as select. I select from SAS help dot class. That's it. Okay. Suppose I'm doing it. What I'm actually working on, Now look at here. I'm executing this query. So this query will come along with its row number and title. See, this title is carried forward and this row number is also carried forward. Because this title is a global statement, it is in effect for all the queries. Correct? So same thing, if you don't want this title to be executed for next query, just after this query ends, write a null title statement. And you do not want a row number for this select, you reset that option by using reset and write no number. Fine. So now let's execute. So your first query is executed with title and row number. Your second query will not have a title and no row number. So this is where your reset statement is used to change your SQL options settings for your upcoming queries. All right.
Yes.
So in
Yes.
case I write a third query now, I write select asterisk from, I write SAS help dot class fit table. Yes, we do have class fit. Let me first check the column name. Sorry, table name, how it is. Is it having a hyphen in between? Class fit. Okay. Now understand, will this new select or new clause of or new query will carry forward this option of no number, or it will work with this option of number? Any
No.
idea?
No
No, no.
number.
No, no.
No number? Okay, let's check. So this is your first query result with number. Second query, no title, no number. Third query, no number. So what
No.
is happening?
So the reset, it has resetted the entire, from then it has resetted with,
Absolutely. So reset statement with no number is effective for every select clause henceforth. In case for this, if you want number, you can always write
No.
reset and number. So only this select will be without number. Rest all selects writing post this will have number. All right,
Yes.
this is
everyone, are you
flexible.
getting it?
Yes, Ashwini.
So that's what it was telling you. See, options in ProcSQL statements such as your line number remain in effect until they are changed, deleted, or until a new ProcSQL statement is executed. Options can be added, removed, or changed between ProcSQL statements with reset statement. That's what we have come. There are two selects and resetting the options. Now open this activity, submit the program and view the result. Modify the program as follows. Go ahead, open this lesson 3 A01 activity and modify it as per these 2 points. Work on it. Done?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So add an option in ProcSQL statement so that the rows of the first report are numbered. Done
Yes.
with that? Okay.
Yes.
Add a
Yes.
number statement with the appropriate option after the first select statement so that the rows of the second part are not numbered.
Yes.
Fine. Then
Yes.
resubmit the program and view the result.
Yeah.
So which option, number or no number, applies to your third report?
No number.
Okay. Others?
Yes. No. No.
No number.
Yes.
So it's the same thing what we have done here, right?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. So no number option applies to the third report. Okay. And you have an exercise. So let's move to your PDF. Come to your PDF book. Exercise for your first part. So let's do something which is level 2. Come to page 3-12. Level 2, exercise number 2, using formats to limit the width of column in the output. Write a query that retrieves supplier name, group, product group, and product name columns from the table orion.product_dim. Add this title to the report Australian clothing products. Include only rows where the following are true, that the product category is clothes and supplier country is Australia. To enable the report to be printed in portrait orientation, use formats to limit the width. Okay. Group 2, 12, product name to 30. Label the columns and the output should appear like this. So before working it, always understand your input data product_dim. So where is your input table? Orion library, product_dim. That means it's a product demographic or information data. Okay, so you have product ID, product line, product category, product group, product name. So see the name of the product, see the product category, product group. Suppliers are various country suppliers, supplier names, and supplier ID. So they were telling you need to subset your data on product category should be clothes and supplier country. So if you see product category column, see the values how they are. So how are you going to select it? Clothes. Okay, fine. So let's move ahead and write a query for this. Go ahead, you work. I mean, I'll work simultaneously. So it's the page number 3-12 level 2. Exercise number 2.
Yes, Ashwini.
So this is how you write the program. First title, then you have select query, from clause, where clause, order by. And of course, null title statement. Hence, you get this result. Australian clothing products.
Is there any difference keeping the null title after the quit or before the quit? Which is
See,
more?
why I'm writing here before quit, it's because maybe in a single ProcSQL, you may write multiple selects.
Yes.
Okay, so if you remember the earlier program,
Yes, understood now.
yeah, that's why I had I made a point that just to include for this program also the title before quit. You can write it after quit also, there is no problem.
But in case of multiple select, it
Yes,
is okay.
correct. So just have that habit. So I used it.
Okay.
So this is how you get the code. I hope everyone have written the same code.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Ashwini. Done.
Okay. Vikram, Monica, Shanmuga.
yes.
Done, Ashwini.
Okay, great. So let's see how one can summarize the report. So till date, we were looking into the detailed data, right? Now let's see how one can summarize the data. So we'll use certain functions to create summary queries. We'll group the data and produce summary statistics for each group, and we'll subset a query on summarized column. So what do you mean by a summarized report? Now, for example, I write ProcSQL. Suppose the same thing I select I or use the same data for employee donations. So I write employee ID and we use Q1, correct? So this is the column which we are using it currently. And we use the from clause Orion dot employee underscore donations quit, correct? So when we execute this query, we know it's giving you the report or it's querying the two columns, which is employee ID and Q1. And of course, this is the detailed value, that means it is simply printing all the rows from these two columns in your query output. But I don't want all the rows for Q1. I want what is the total sum for Q1 been contributed. So I may use a function called sum. Okay, so before this, what I will do is I may write a select query that in case I want to have the sum of all the total of Q1. Okay, so I write select, I write qtr1, I want a sum value. I give its column name as total of my Q1. Okay, so it is from Orion dot employee underscore donations. Fine. So look at here. So I get the sum of all my Q1 contribution, which is 1515 or 1515. Correct. So this is what I get the sum. So what I'm getting it actually, if you have observed my original table, so for my Q1, it is performing sum on all the rows. So it is a column total. Correct. So the result which I'm getting is actually the column total for Q1. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes. So when I write a sum function with a single column, it gives me the column total, right? So the same query, if I write it and I include for all the quarters. So I now include Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay. Fine. Now check. Understand. I re-execute my earlier query and my second query. And now check the result. So my first query, when I have written sum function for 1 quarter, it is giving me a vertical total, that is column total. But when I include with the sum function all the quarters, what I'm getting?
Row total.
Absolutely. It's a row total. Because if you observe these donations, first person is donating only for 4th quarter, whereas the second is all the 4 quarters 15. So 15 fours are what would should be the value?
60.
60, correct? So is it coming? Right?
Yes.
Original table, third employee, 20, 20, 20, 20, 4 times 20. So total is 80. Is it 80? So this is the difference, that when we include a single column to perform a sum, it will give you a column total. But when we include multiple columns with a sum function, it gives you a row total. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now this part I'll show you later on once we get introduced to the topic. So coming here, management requested a report containing the total annual donations for each employee. This is your employee data. You're writing a query. You want a result, total of your annual donations for each employee. So I'm writing this query, employee ID, and for what it's telling, management requested a report containing total donations for each employee. So I want total for all my quarters, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I write like this. So let's execute and check. Am I getting the same? Look at here. What is the value? But what I'm getting? So let's check your log. Anything missing out? No. All right. So let's understand what they're telling. So when you use a summary function and when we include the sum of all the columns, it gives you a row total. So for a summary function with multiple arguments, non-missing values are totaled across a row. Now they have used a keyword non-missing. Why? Because we know when we use a sum function, it ignores missing value. Correct? That is why we never used an assignment statement or a calculation with a plus sign to perform the sum. Because SAS never works on missing value. So missing plus any value, it results to missing. That is why to overcome the missing result, to ignore the missing value, we use sum function. And it will ignore the missing value and it will perform the sum of all the quarters. All right, understood?
Yes.
Yes.
So in our case, employee ID, we are selecting individual column and also sum. You are giving it a label format and you are subsetting on this. So our code, we should subset on this, and they are doing order by 6th column. Now, which is your 6th column? This is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and this is 6th. Got it?
Yes.
Yes.
So you get this output as per the requirement you are formatting, and these are all the columns. Okay, so in our query also, if we include a where clause to subset it, where you are paid by should be check or cash. Of course, order by also we need to do it. Something which me paid by. Okay, let's check that later on. But this is how it will work, okay? Okay. So there is a quiz. The following select statements return the same result. Is it true or false? We have discussed this currently.
False.
False.
False?
Yes. The
Yes,
operator
because
is okay.
correct, absolutely. So the addition operator returns a missing value if any operand is missing. Fine. So in SAS, Monica, SAS never works on missing value. So if we have any values missing for quarter one or quarter two, so missing plus any value will result to missing. So to avoid that, we use a sum function which ignores missing value and performs the sum. Hence, both the expressions will not result the same output. So as per the business requirement now, the management requested a report containing the total contributions for all employees only in quarter one. So if you want this type of report, you use a sum function only with one column. So when you use a sum function with column one or any single column, it will give you the column total. It will be a vertical total. So that's what you see the output. So this is what the label you get. And this is the output. So it's doing down the column. So it is similar like your proc means of your base SAS, where you are selecting sum and maximum decimal places value is 0. So analysis variable is where for quarter one you get sum of all the values, which is 15, 15. It is same as your proc SQL sum function. All fine? Yes?
Yes.
So what you can do is, you can try out this demo D06 and D07. Try this D06 and D07.
Done, Ashwini.
Done, Ashwini.
All right. So moving ahead, that's what it's telling. Summary functions recap. So it's telling how a summary function works in SQL depends on the number of columns specified in the argument list. So if the summary function specifies more than one column, the statistics is calculated across the rows. And if you have a single column, it is going to perform it throughout the column. That is vertical way. This is horizontal way. All right. So these are some of the commonly used functions in SQL. So these are SAS functions. This is SQL functions. So if you want mean to be calculated in SQL, we use AVG. Frequency and number of non-missing values is n, which returns this. It's same in SQL. You have count. Max is done, mean, sum. Now you know it. Okay. So these are some of the both ANSI, SQL and SAS functions. All these SAS functions can be used in SQL as well. That's what they are trying to tell you. Okay, now they are telling here, create a report that shows the total number of current Orion Star employee and a report that shows the total number of current Orion Star managers. So I'm going to write an SQL code on your data employee information where you have count of all the employees and you have count of only managers. So before working on this, let's understand your input data, which is employee information. So looking into your data set employee information, let's check the columns. So it has employee ID, employee start date, end date, department, job title, salary, gender, birth date, employee, hire, term date, and manager IDs. So how many managers that count and total employees that count. So if you see total rows are 424, but you may have certain rows which are duplicates, correct? So hence they are telling they want the count of total employees. Now here the total rows are 424, but the count of employees 308. Understand the difference. And count of managers are 52. So how you'll get this? So if you want the count of non-missing values, you can use a function count. So how you'll do it here? Coming back to your program, I write proc SQL select. So how I'll write select? Let's see. First, I give the input table Orions dot employee underscore information. All right. So if I write count for all my rows, let's check. Employee information. So it's not the S here. So it's giving us like this. So it's what we had used count of asterisk. So what this asterisk means? All the columns. So for all this, we know these are the total rows. Are you getting it? But you want a total number of employees. So let's work on only one column, which is employee ID, maybe. Okay. So now I copy the same code. And here I specify a specific column now. Let's check the result. Again, the same thing. So what does this mean? That means for employee ID, there is no missing values. Correct? Are you getting me what we are doing it here?
Yes.
Correct? So even if I'm using count, I'm not getting 308. So how do I get this 308? So where employee term date is missing. So let's work with only those employees who have not yet left the organization. Hence I write where employee term date is missing. Correct? So this is what we have the column. Employee term date. What does this mean? That this employees are still working with the organization. Hence they have not terminated. So there is no date. Are you getting it now? Shanmuga, Swarupa.
Yes, Ashwini.
So here, instead of writing employee ID, let's use all the rows. And now execute this query. Got it? 308.
Yes.
So I can write as count of employees. Done? So we got 308. All right. Moving ahead. So it's telling here if you write asterisk, all rows in the table or groups are included. If you write a specific column, so only for that column non-missing counts are being provided. Fine. Now we want about manager ID. So if you want to work with the same thing for the column manager ID, you may give here count, you write distinct manager underscore ID. Got 52? Same thing. All right. So either you use this keyword is missing or you can use this expression as I have written is equal to period indicates missing. So it's a numeric column. Hence we write it's missing is period. All right, everyone.
Yes, Ashwini.
Yes, Ashwini.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now open this activity, everyone. How many rows did the first query create? How many rows did the second query create? In the second query's result, was the value in average column different for every gender listed? Yes. Now come to this activity A02 for lesson 3. So it's a query which is querying for average salaries in first query, and the second query is you want the average salaries between each gender. So now I execute my first query, which is calculating the average salary. So this is the average salary throughout my organization. So irrespective the gender. Are you getting it? Yes?
Yes.
Everyone with me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So now what I do is I include column gender because in every gender, male and female, I want the average salaries. Code is the same. I re-execute this code now. Do I get the average salaries within each group? I get the rows as it is. So total rows, if you see, I'm getting 308 because I'm working with term date is not missing, is missing, sorry. So what has happened? Do I get average salaries between each gender? Ideally, I should get only 2 rows, correct? Which is within male and average salary and within female, the average salary. So I'm not getting this. What has happened? Any idea? Check your log. What message do we have? Yes, we have a note. Query requires remerging summary statistics back with original data. So what is this meaning? Any idea? Because the result what we are getting is this is my overall company's average salary. This average salary is getting stacked for every row. Correct? Agreed?
We can group male separately, female separately.
Yes. So this is what is happening, that because the average is been calculated for the across the rows, every average value is getting remerged or stacked with every row of your employee gender. Now, why this is happening is because it's a default behavior of ProcSQL that whenever you query a non-summarized column with a summarized column, it gives you the remerging output. Remerging means the average value or the summarized value gets remerged with every row. So why? Because this column is not at all summarized, but salary is been summarized. Are you getting it? That is why it's giving you remerging type of result. So this is a default behavior. So in case if you are going to use a clause called as group by, and you group by for your first column, which is employee gender, then group by is not highlighted blue. So let's execute. So this is where you see the table has been grouped on employee gender, and within every group now you get their average salary. So let's check your log. So now here you do not have remerging note statement. Getting it? So whenever you are going to query two columns where one column is summarized and the second is non-summarized, it will perform remerging statistics. So to avoid that, please group by for your column where you need to process it in groups. Understood?
Yes.
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 So that's what this activity was telling. How many rows did the first query create? So it gave you all the rows. Correct? So it gives you only one row, which is the average salary for throughout the organization. Whereas the second query, it is giving you for all the rows where it is stacking your summary statistics value with all the rows. So the output where we were getting was total rows 3, not 8. So this is the number of rows counted by your count function in the program which we have done earlier. So this is what it was giving. So did the result come as per our required expectation? No. So it did not give you the result within the group of gender. So every row contained the same average value, which is the overall average salary for your entire table. So what it happens? So that's what we saw this note also. So when a select clause contains a column created by a summary function and a column that is not summarized, the summarized data is automatically appended to each row of your original table. That's what we saw it. Correct? And we got this note also. So it's telling now to calculate the average salaries within each gender. And of course, you want their percentages also. But you need to subset your data only for those male employees. So how you'll get this? Then you subset your data with where gender is equal to M order by 3. And of course, you perform salary divided by sum of salaries. So calculate each male employee's salary as a percent of all male employees' salary. So display employee ID salary and percentage in decreasing order of percentage. So you write order by 3 and descending. So this is the rows which is expected individual salary divided by your statistics of your salary. So this is where you get the output. Though you get the output where percentage is calculated, but still it is telling you this message. Now why this message is coming, though you have used order by and you are doing this, it is a default behavior of performing remerging whenever you write a non-summarized column to be queried with a summarized column. Result is coming, but it will still give you this note. Okay, so it's a default behavior. Go ahead and look into this demo. D09 is the same thing. Read this carefully and execute and check the percentages of salaries. Done? Yes? Are you all with me?
Yes, Ashwini.
Doing the data step alternate solution.
Okay, go ahead. So understand the multiple data steps of base SAS and proc steps. The same result you see it in a single proc SQL step. Done?
Done, Ashwini.
Okay. So did you check your log also? So here it's still giving you this message, but the result is correct. Correct? Understood? So it's a default behavior of remerging your summary values with your original data. Everyone with me?
Yes, Ashwini.
Yes, yes, sir.
Followed with
Yes.
this? Okay. Now, in case if you don't want this type of message appearing, you can always suppress this message in log by writing either no SQL remerge as a system option or proc SQL option no remerge. So resubmitting the query with no remerge option in effect produces no output and results in the log will give you this message. So in case if you want to suppress this remerging message or note message which is coming in your log, you can use any of this, either a ProcSQL option or a system option, but it will not execute your query and it will give you an error. So this indicates that remerging is a default behavior if you are using a summary statistics column with a non-summarized column. Try this, write no remerge in your ProcSQL as an option. Check whether it's executing and giving you this error. Done? Yes.
Yes, Ashwin.
So did you see you get an error and your query is also not getting executed?
Yes.
That means remerging is its default natural behavior. So open this activity A03, submit the query and review the output and log. Answer the following questions. Yes, go ahead with this activity A03. So it's activity A03. Average salary, employee gender, execute it, check the result, check the log. So what is your activity telling? How many rows of your output are now created?
2 rows.
2. So what major difference is there in the log between the query's result and the second query in the previous activity? So it was giving you the message of remerging there. Now here it's not giving you any more message of remerging, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
No message. Yes.
Yeah, so there is no note now about remerging. This is there about data configurity or all. Leave that. But apart from it, do you get a message or note about remerging happening?
No.
No, correct? So that's what, this is what you had the answer. And here we were not getting any messages. So there was no note about remerging statistics as we were saying it in earlier. And this is what it is. So produce a report that determines the average salaries by gender. So this is what you have written. So you write group by. So you can use group by clause to do the following: classifying the data into groups based on the values of one or more columns, calculate statistics for each unique value of the grouping column. So it will do group by. Okay, so it will group within this columns the values, and accordingly the average salaries will be grouped among these columns. So you get this output. So can you group by more than one column?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can. Now understand, you are going to generate a report where you want count of number of employees in each department. So produce a report showing the count of employees in those departments that have at least 25 people. Display the results in descending order. So not only you calculate the count within the department, but you want to select only those rows which are having people working in each department 25 and above. So you use the data employee information. So you have employee information. So I may select this. Okay. I want the count. Okay. So I am writing count of only count, and I want it within the department. Okay. So what I do is count, before it department. But we know there are multiple departments, correct? So let's use distinct for department. All right. And of course, let's group by department. Agreed? Will this give us the exact output? Yes or no? So we get count of number of employees in each department. Fine. So let's check your log. So there is no remerging note. Why? Because we have used group by. But we want the output where all the employees whose count for each department is greater than 20 and above 25. Are you getting it? What we need to require? Yes? No?
Yes, there is a specific condition of.
Correct. So ideally we get this. So what we do, produce the report showing number of employees in each department. So you write this count. Okay, group by department. We got it, right? Next, we want to subset the data of a count of employees greater than 25, 25 and above, right? That's what we wanted. So let's remove not have this. Right? So we want all those who are above 25 and above. So how I subset my rows? Tell me.
After group by, can we use where? No.
Okay, but as per your steps, writing your
same.
clause will where work?
Yeah, it is out of order.
Again, count is not a column which is coming from input table. So in this case, when you want to subset your data within the groups, you cannot use where, you use having clause. So you write having, you can write count, either you write the expression or you write the column alias, whatever is greater than equal to 25. So whenever you want to subset your data within the groups, you write having clause. All right. So having always goes along with group by. Done. So if you want it in a specific order, you write order by your count column, because I've used as here as a keyword. It's a column. So I write count in descending order. Fine. Did we get the expected output?
Yes.
Correct. So this is how it is. You get introduced with having clause. So here, that's what it was telling. So control the result to include only the departments that have at least 25 people with the departments in descending order. So you get introduced with having clause. So having clause subset groups based on expression value. So whenever you need to subset your data within the groups, you write having clause. So write either GE or you can write the expression with mnemonic symbols. So group by can also, can be done on multiple columns. So having is a SQL expression. So because we have used as a column name, you write a column name or you can directly write this expression. And you need to have the same order. So you write order by count in descending. So you get this output. So what is the difference between where and having? This is a interview question, okay? So your where clause is evaluated before a row is available for processing and determines which individual rows are available for grouping. Whereas having clause is processed after group by clause and determines which groups are displayed. So it's like having means it is during the execution phase or during it has been processing, whereas where is at the time of compilation phase. In short, all fine. So where always works before the rows are brought into PDV.
Yes.
Done? Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes,
Okay.
Ashwini.
Now look into the syntax. Select job title values, which is actually total bonus value greater than 1000. Look into the syntax carefully, both of the syntax.
First
Now
one.
it's telling which syntax selects job title values with a total bonus greater than 10,000.
After group by having. First one.
First one,
Yes.
yes. Now the scenario here is create a report that lists the following for each department. Total number of managers, total number of non-manager employees and their ratio. M versus E. So this is what you have to work on, department and job titles. So how do you determine the rows that do have manager in job title as well as rows that do not? So you cannot use where clause to exclude either the group. So let's use a Boolean expression of find function. Now you are aware with find function, if it finds this word within your string, correct, then its value is always 0. But if it does not find, its value is greater than 0. So this is what it's telling. We know what find function does. So within job title, we are going to find for manager. Search is case insensitive, so I is a modifier. So within this job title, a manager is located from this position, 16th position, because till here is 10, till here is the 16th column. So you know this function. Within a string, you are looking for a substring by using certain modifiers, that is I, that this word should be searched with irrespective of its case. So case insensitive is I, and start position means you can provide the position from which position it should start looking. So let's use this Boolean expression. So it's always greater than, so it's telling it's a Boolean expression. 1 is true, 0 means false. So earlier I might have said exactly opposite. So 1 means the value is found, 0 means the value is not found. So you're writing this expression department, job title, find within job title manager, case is insensitive. It's always greater than 0. That means it will find that value, which is manager. So you need to write this. So yes, it's finding wherever there is manager. So using this, you can now look into the count for managers and non-managers. Now you are writing it. Sum of this as manager and sum of this which is equal to 0, which is non-managers as employees. And then calculated managers divided by calculated employees. Give the label as manager versus employee ratio formatted with percentage 8.1. So you get the result as it's expected. So number of managers in this department, number of employees within this department. So manager versus employee ratio is 21.4%. So how you get this? So this is the output, or this is the underlying code. Observe this code carefully and try to execute it. Demo D14. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same thing. That's it. And you have an exercise. Any questions till now?
No, Ashwini.
No? So we'll stop our day. Request you to complete the demonstrations and exercise as a self-study. In case any doubts, we can cover it in our next class. So thanks for attending this session. Wish you a good night. Take care and bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ashwini.
Thank you.